Hey, good evening, and welcome to another exciting episode of Fast Freddie Rocks Youngstown, coming to you live and direct from the state-of-the-art Youngstown Studio in beautiful downtown Youngstown, Ohio, halfway between Chicago and halfway between Cleveland and Pittsburgh, and halfway between Chicago and New York. We're right here in Youngstown, the heart of it all.
You know it.
Or is it Struthers? Is Struthers the heart of it all? What's the motto?
I think Ohio is, I don't know.
You know what? Yeah, I think Ohio was the heart of it all.
Yeah.
But I think all these communities have a nickname, you know.
They're just all the heart of it all.
Yeah, right.
Make it easy.
Yeah, we're all right here. It's in the heart of it all. And where I'm at, that's the heart of it all.
That's it.
So anyways, I'm here along with Joe Danier, and got a little bit of rock talk coming up today. We'll have a little bit of fun. Maybe not. My buddy Vinnie Martell from the band Vanilla Fudge might be calling in a little later. I'm not sure if he is or not, so we're not going to bank on that. If he does, we'll have some interesting conversation because that guy has rubbed the elbows with everybody. Jimi Hendrix, Led Zeppelin, Janis Joplin. And it was funny, he called me, he's working on a project, and he called me, and it was kind of weird because I was watching this video with Burton Cummings from the Guess Who. And they asked Burton Cummings what was one of his favorite shows that he ever played. And he said it was the Seattle Pop Festival in 1969. And Vinnie Martell and Vanilla Fudge was on the bill. But the rest of this thing was like the Guess Who, Led Zeppelin, the Doors. The lineup was just incredible. And it was a 3-day music festival. And I definitely wanted to ask Vinny about that one because I'm sure he had some great memories about that. So, yeah, maybe he'll call in, maybe not. If he doesn't this week, we'll get him probably next week or the week after.
So, Vinny, if you're out there, the number's at the bottom right-hand corner of the screen. You can call in and I'll get you.
I'm actually a little bit ahead of the game. I sent
him the number?
I sent him the number. I'm doing show prep today.
Look at that.
You know, yeah.
Turning over a new leaf.
Yeah, turning over a new leaf. All right. Anyways, our friend Linda's checking in. Hi, Linda. Linda's been having a few health problems here, so hopefully she gets all squared away. That'd be nice. And anyways,
sipping the espresso and joining there.
Yeah, right. Just a little bit of the espresso here, but I did bring a coffee, and I should have brought you one, but I didn't even think about it. That's how inconsiderate I am.
Well, no, you owed me that because I've shafted you a number of times down here, not offering a beer, drinking over here.
Empty bourbon bottle. You walk in and there's like, oh, okay, wait, there was a bottle of Crown here.
Where'd it go?
Yeah, what's going on here? Okay.
So we're even now, right?
I guess, yeah. I'm not keeping score. I didn't even think of buying you one. I could, you know what, because I didn't really need the big jumbo size. You know, we could have got 2 mediums and but unless you want a cup, you want me to mix it?
No, I'm good. Are you a fan of Dunkin'?
Yes. Yes, I am. I'm diehard Dunkin' every single day of my life. You know, I usually go to the one in Niles, the one on Salt Springs. This one comes from the one in Struthers. But yeah, I'm Dunkin' all the way. Hey, our buddy Dan is checking in. Hi, Dan. Todd is here. Todd knows all about the espresso. He was here with Candace Campana.
Yeah.
They got a gig coming up this weekend. Todd, what's the gig coming up this weekend? I had it written down here somewhere, but I know you guys are playing on the 16th. Shoot me the info on that so we could get that out. But boy, that was a fun show, huh? With Todd and Candace. And they got some shows coming up. They will be West Side Bowl this weekend. Okay. That's right. They'll be at the West Side Bowl. They got a good show going on there. And then, of course, they'll be playing the Cedars West End for the Cedars anniversary celebration. We got to get more Cedars people in here. That's who we got to get in. We need more Cedars people. You know, I know JR from Rainbow Tribe wants to come on. Maybe we can get the Jelly Bricks because they're going to be playing in that. Remember we had Timber on with the 8 Balls? Boy, that was a fun show, man. So, yeah, the whole Cedars era, you know, maybe we could do a big 50th anniversary blowout.
Heck yeah, let's do it.
With some of the, you know, the guys that used to hang down there, like John Gatta, Andy Gray from the Trib. And, boy, we could do a good little panel discussion on the Cedars. That was something, man. You know, that was like the heart of it all for, like, you know, the beginnings of the alternative music, you know. And the Goo Goo Dolls played there. Of course, the Dead Boys played there. And, you know, it's, you know, definitely, you know, it was kind of like what filled in after the Tomorrow Club. Oh, there we go. R.I.P. Tomorrow Club. But and then that started that whole scene going. And that's why I wasn't really to the into the Cedars that much, because that's when we were doing all our CD 106, and even before that, my country nights and stuff. So, back in that time, I was out doing a lot of that. Yeah, Penguin Pub was a Penguin Pub reunion would be pretty wild. Oh, and also Todd says we got to get a plug to O'Neill's Coffee in West Middlesex. That's where his wife works, and they have some great coffee and all kinds of stuff there.
One of the best in the area. One of the best.
The Joe Danier seal of approval.
Seal of approval. It's one of my favorites.
Yeah, I don't get out to West Middlesex that much.
Well, they have great distribution, so you can find them in some restaurants around here.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Oh, so they're kind of a big deal, huh?
Yeah.
Well, I still got to stop down there. The Penguin Pub too. That was crazy.
Where is that? I've never seen it.
It was on the north side over by Wick Park, right on the corner. There was a grocery store there, and that was also like a new wave, if you want to call it new wave, alternative, or that kind of stuff, And one of the craziest shows there was G.G. Ellen. Are you familiar with G.G. Ellen? G.G. Ellen was like this crazy, sick bastard that would poop on stage naked and throw it on people and fight people. And you got to look up the whole story of G.G. Ellen. Okay. I mean, and he did play. There's video of him playing at the Penguin Pub, and John Kennedy from the Royal Oaks was one of the bouncers, and Danny Kaye was another bouncer up there. But G.G. Ellen was just this twisted guy, and then plus they had him on some of these shock shows back in the day before Springer, when you had like Phil Donahue and them would have him on there, and he was like, a Satan worshiper and just all this, and we're going to destroy your kids. And, and
was he really like that, or was that just,
no, that was the thing. This was real deal. There was nothing put on about this, man. And he ended up dying at an early age. I think his brother is still out there, but man, I'll tell you what, you got to look up G.G. Ellen, and G.G. Ellen at the Penguin Pub. That was probably, one of the highlights. Yeah, Penguin Pub reunion would be fun. The Cedars reunion is coming up, and Dan remembers me at Bullwinkle's. That used to be a fun place. Bullwinkle's on South Avenue. I was there for years. That's why I couldn't get down to the Cedars. I was at Bullwinkle's all the time. I was out there working, and Bullwinkle's was a lot of fun. I DJ'd there on Friday nights, and boy, we had some good crowds and some. One of the craziest things I remember at Bullwinkle's, when we first started CD 106, and I first started playing there, and we had this Brown Steelers thing. Yeah, the Murder Junkies is G.G. Ellen's band. Thanks, Dan. So we did this thing, and I made this bet, and it was like, if the Browns win, I'll buy everybody wings for the night. The wings are on me, free wings if the Steelers win. And so, of course, the Steelers won, and it was a complete madhouse. There were so many irate Steelers fans in that place, and they were just in my face, and this was like when CD 106 was new. So they weren't really, there were people coming from Newcastle. They were all in there, and they're all coming up to me, and they're like in my face, nose to nose, and bitching at me. And people are picking up chicken and throwing it at me, go, I wouldn't eat a chicken wing from a Browns fan if you paid me. Here's your freaking wing. And when I left there, it was like every table and chair was smashed on the ground, tipped over, beer cans, bottles everywhere. Wow. And I had my hand up like this, and like in front of my face, because these people were getting in my face, And when I got done, I had so much spit on my arm. It was like it even broke out a little bit. I had a couple of zits on there because I had my hand up in my face, because these people were like nose to nose, you no good Browns fan, you piece of crap. And, And of course, I'm on the mic, just yelling shit back and everything. And it was that was one of my most memorable events there. Oh, another time too when when OJ and the Chase was on. When OJ and the Chase was on in the white Bronco, we were watching it that night. That's one of those. Where were you that night? I remember that well because everybody was sitting there watching that and they were glued to the TV. I didn't even have to play any music that night. I just made funny comments as the chase was going on. Hey, my buddy Rich is checking in. Rick, how are you? Rick is one of our motorcycle guys, and bike nights are up and running. I got to make sure I promote that. As a matter of fact, this Thursday night, Quaker Steak and Lube in Austintown and Biker Brew House. They got a good thing going now because it's Thursday night and both places have like bands and everything. So you got that whole corner. It's probably the only bike night around where you got a couple of different bars that you could go to, And this week we got the Huck and Philbillies on Thursday night. We got a lot of bands coming up on Thursdays. And it's cool too. Even if you don't ride, it's still a good party vibe. And you're going to get a lot of bands with no cover charge on Thursday night early, so you can get back home. Bands start like 6 to 9, something like that. And we're also doing a dice roll for a new Harley at the end of the year. Give you a chance to roll the dice, and it's a lot of fun. Our beer specials are Ball Bearing Pale Ale from the Biker Brew House, which is really good. I got to tell you, I know people that they just hear about they hear the word craft beer or a brewery or a brew pub, and automatically they turn their nose up. Like I'm going to drink my Miller Lite. I'm going to drink my Coors Light, and that's it. But if you're that kind of a person, if you try this Ball Bearing Pale Ale, it's as good, if not better, than anything out there. You would never sit there and think like, what the hell is this? Now, like I know my brother, man, when it comes to like stouts and IPAs and everything, it's like, give me a High Life. I'm not drinking that crap, but what is that? Now I like those stouts. Hey, my buddy Sam Cook is checking in, and Sam is going to join us. Oh, that's right. I am been inducted, and we got the big ceremony coming up into the Wilson High School Hall of Fame. How about that? Huh?
I have applause somewhere on there.
Yeah, thank you. That's more organic.
Oh no.
Yeah, that's more organic. I think I am in the Hall of Fame for being the person that was late for school the most.
Okay.
Yep. It's kind of nice, because they actually have the old Wilson High School bell there, and they rang it. Sometimes I'm the MC for that. I'm the host. And several times they start and end the thing ringing that bell. And I was like, I'm glad that you guys had me come out here to host this, because never in my time at Wilson High School have I ever heard that bell ring. Well, I did hear it from a distance. As I was walking up Dewey over by Homestead Park, I heard a bell in the distance. And I wasn't sure if that was the school bell or somebody was trying to escape from Woodside Hospital or whatever. But so the fact that I'm standing there in the room when I hear that bell ring, it's like, wow, how about that?
If you don't show for the induction ceremony late, you have to. You freaking have to. They have to be calling your name. Freddie, are you here? That'd be so awesome.
Oh man, that's one of the few things I've actually been on time. It's a big deal. It's a big deal, and I'm happy to be in it, and that's going to be a lot of fun. I'll see Sam out there, class of 75, Wilson High School. Boy, is that good.
It is such good.
I think that's the only reason I come down here on Monday. Free espresso brewed to perfection.
Mm-hmm.
They might hire you over there over at O'Neill's in West Middlesex. They might have,
I'm available.
Barista.
Totally available.
Yeah, that would be something. So yeah, that's some of the things that are going on. Our buddy Dave is checking in. I just talked with him a little while ago. Sad news: our longtime friend Harry George has passed away, and George has been not doing well for the last couple of years, but boy, that guy was a character. he is one of those guys, either you loved him or you hated him, and he didn't care. That's why I don't feel bad saying that. It's like, okay, you don't like me, too bad. I'll give you even more reason to not like me. But he was really one of the guys that really got me into the whole motorcycle scene and introduced me to a lot of people, for better or worse. And he will be missed. He was a one-of-a-kind character.
And you have a million stories with the guy.
Oh, yeah, right. And he used to live on my street, so that even made it even better, So I've known George for years, and I was just I couldn't get away from him. I was stuck. There was a few times, I'll admit, it's like, oh man, come on, George, you can't be doing that. Or you know what, you're going to get me in trouble because, you might be able to do something like that, but I can't do something like that,
Pushing the limit.
Yeah. And it's like, that's nice that you do it, but, can't get me involved
That's
in
right.
it, But hey, Wally's checking in as always. Wally, old school rocker all the way. He's been all them shows at the Tomorrow Club. He knows what I'm talking about,
Oh, I didn't give you your
when we
card.
do the Tomorrow Club. And for those of you that aren't really follow the show, when we do that little sound there, that's our little sounder that we pay respect. Back when we first started, there was a rule that every show we had to mention the Tomorrow Club, Idora Park, Boots Bell, the Michael Stanley Band, and what am I missing? I think there was one more. It'll come to me. But those were the big Youngstown four. Oh, Left End. So every show you would have to mention Left End, Michael Stanley, Boots Bell, the Tomorrow Club.
And I had a scorecard every week,
right,
to make sure that you did name them
We
all.
had to mention all those at Idora Park. Hot day, but yeah, the only things that matter in Youngstown. Maybe, you can maybe mention the Wizard and the 4 o'clock high in there too, So the problem with that stuff is now a lot of that stuff, you got to be 60 years old to remember that.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, how could that be? That just happened yesterday. That was 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
You mean to tell me 1984 wasn't 10 years ago? That's like, with Sam, we not only do we have the Wilson Hall of Fame coming up, we have our class reunion coming up for the class of 1975. I'm not even going to say anything about how long that's been. You could do the math.
Yeah, there's a couple decades in there.
Yeah, a few.
Have you gone to most of them?
Yeah. You know what? I think going to those things are a lot of fun. I really do. Bob Seger has that song, "See Some Old Friends, It's Good for the Soul." I really believe that. When I see people that I haven't seen for a while, or people that I've known from like first grade, I think there's something about that. We had a little get together not too long ago with a few people from Wilson and that sort of thing, just a little impromptu gathering. And I'm sitting here going, I have known you since first grade. And here you are, in your 60s, and you're sitting there with these people, and it's like, and you're still like, there's still like this bond that it's like, okay, you went to grade school with somebody, you sit down and you kind of pick up back with grade school,
right where you left off.
Yeah, it's like right where you left off. It's just like the conversation continues. And I think like with social media, that's one of the good things about it too, is that you get a chance to keep in touch with more people like that. And I think that's one of the good parts about social media. When you use it to be social, I think that's a good way to go about it. You reconnect with these people, and it's like, hey, it's their birthday. You wish them a happy birthday, or even if you see them and say hello, and you're going, man, what, we graduated 50 years ago. But if I would sit down and talk to you, it would be like we'd just pick up right where we left off.
My 30 years this year, and I haven't gone to any of them. I don't even know what they're like. So
yeah, you know what? I mean, some people maybe didn't like high school. Maybe some people were picked on. Maybe, they were made fun of by kids. Maybe they just didn't like the people they went to school with. I mean, there's a lot of reasons, Well,
I think for a lot of us, the people we cared to keep in touch with, we use social media for. So when you go there, it's like, hey, nice talking to you again.
Yeah,
so
well, my reunions go back before social media. BSM. Yeah, I go back to BSM. And, but I can see why some people don't like to go, don't want to go.
Yeah.
Maybe you don't think they look good. Maybe they don't think they age good and things like that. And then the real hot chick is still hot, and you put on 50 pounds and you're wearing your mommy jeans and they're wearing a sequin black dress.
They look good, and then you look minimized.
Yeah, I can see how that could be, but I don't see it that way, But who knows? Maybe if I wasn't on the radio and stuff, I might have no, you know what? I had fun in high school. I don't have any, misgivings or, I hated to go, or actually I kind of like to go to school. I never was really about, I just had a hard time getting up, and that's another thing I could honestly say, being in the Hall of Fame, I have never skipped school one day. I never skipped school. I just showed up when I felt like it.
You had school skips built into that.
There's a little bit different, there's more of a stigma attached to it, or they get more pissed if you just don't show up at all. I show up when I felt like it. And when I got there, then I was ready to go.
Okay.
So that's why I think I'm in there for the most tardy of anybody. Yeah.
Well, see, now they limit schools to like 4 tardies before they start really hammering down. And I'm thinking, man, I did that in the first month of school.
I was looking when I was there, the one year especially, that must have been my junior year. And I had geometry in the first period, and the teacher was Mr. Gayadsky, and he would crack me every day.
Really?
But it almost got to be a shtick. You know what I mean? And maybe that's what encouraged me, to be, get some attention and get a few laughs from everybody, because they're going, oh shit, he's late again. Oh no.
Comes the cracker.
Here you go. Whack. And I was like, okay, so, yeah, it almost became a thing to get a laugh, but, I was just a regular, normal person in school. I mean, I wasn't like, just average person, just going to school, have a little fun, and just doing whatever everybody was doing at Wilson High School. That was about it. And Steve is watching. What's up, Stevie? How are you? Another South Sider. Oh yeah, the human beings. Okay. Yeah, I hated school, and it was like the island of misfit toys. And it's true. For everybody, it's different. Maybe the way the teachers talk to you, some people that didn't work right or whatever, maybe they rubbed you the wrong way, or maybe, or maybe you were just an asshole.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe it was your fault. Maybe these people were right. Maybe there was something wrong with you.
Yes, for sure.
But back in the day when they would paddle you, and I'll tell you, we had this one teacher, Mr. Coma was his name. And he was a little guy, and he was kind of a son of a bitch. And I remember me and my one buddy, Richie Pruden, black guy, muscular football player and stuff. And for some reason, we both got a detention for something, probably me coming in late.
No doubt.
And so they always gave you the option. Okay, you can get a crack and be on your way, or you could sit here. And I figured, well, since I didn't get here until 9, I'll sit here for, a half hour and make up the time. See, I'm seeing I'm seeing how this really influenced my work pattern to this day.
Right.
Right. So anyways, I remember we're standing there and we're getting ready to go into detention, me and Richie. And he starts singing this song, and he goes, Mr. Coma is a friend of mine. He will blow you anytime for a nickel or a dime. 15 cents is overtime. And he was standing right around the corner. No. And he walked around that corner, and I was like, oh no. Oh no. And he goes, that's 2 cracks for that. And he cracked Richie so hard 2 times, tears were running down his eyes. And this was a tough cookie. And after that, I said, I'm going to stay.
No crack for you, because he's fired up.
I said, nah, I'll wait. Extra 15 minutes. Yeah, that's for me. Let me carve my name in the desk or something here while I'm killing time.
That's good.
Yeah, so that was that. Hey, my sister Lenny's checking in. Hi, Lenny. How are you? Checking in from New York City. So, my drink today. I feel bad that I'm drinking this in front of you.
No, I'm good. I'm dry this week, so we're good.
Oh, okay. All right. Anyways, this is one of my favorites here. This is this is great for work. Okay. This is Dunkin' Donuts iced coffee, and you get these little rum cheddar, coconut rum cheddars, and you can get these at the store. I'll tell you what I found out buying these. There is unless you go to that one. Sometimes at a beer and wine carry out, you'll get these for $1.50. But like if you go to like some of the state stores that sell all different size rum cheddars, it's still pretty much the same per ounce. You know, that you would think, okay, well, they got that great big bottle, it's $25 or whatever. But then when you buy these, it's all the same. Or they'll have a pint bottle, but you're not getting any kind of discount.
No volume discount.
No, there's no volume discount. It's all the same per ounce practically. But the best place to get these is at like the little beer and wine carryouts. Sometimes they're like $1.99. So anyways, very simple. I got my regular, I'm going to be wired here now. Well, no, I didn't get any espresso in this because I figured we'd be drinking one. And so anyways, you just get these little nips here. Whoops, I'm spilling them all over the place and this stuff is sticky. So you know what? You toss 2 or 3 of these in your cup of joe, your iced coffee, sit back. When they wonder why you're acting a little goofy later on in the day. Oh man, these are filled up to the top.
Is that potent or is it just flavorful?
It's flavorful. You really got to have like 3 of them in there I'm getting stuff all over the board here and stuff. That's why I usually don't look at that.
Oh, it smells good.
Yeah. So there we go. And anyways, that's how you do that. So you got 2 or 3 shots in there of a yummy, tasty coconut summertime goodness, and nobody knows the difference. Man, is that good? That is really good. Breakfast of champions right there. Unless you're like me and you eat breakfast at 1:00 in the afternoon, that's still good. So yeah,
Now, one more question about the school stuff. So,
Okay.
do you think that if they had school later in the day, like wake up time 10:00, that you would have still been tardy? Do you think it was?
Yes,
yeah.
They
No
could have
matter
made
what.
it. They could have made it at 7:00 at night,
Still
and
tardy.
no matter what time it would be, I would still be there. I would still be there late.
Okay.
Yeah. That would not have helped me in any way whatsoever.
Okay.
Yeah.
Understood.
Yeah. Right. I mean, it's just I'm a poor.
That's your brand. It's just your brand.
You know what? Right. So I made it this long, so I have to, I might as well stick with it at this point and make it a thing,
Yeah, for sure.
So why change? How about the woman? Did you see this? What do you think is the worst thing that could happen with road rage? What would you say? Flipping somebody off, crashing into them, fist fight,
Yeah,
gunshots.
that's bad. That's real.
How about
bad.
this one? A female road rager in Pennsylvania was so upset at another driver that she ran over to the other car and pooped on the hood.
Oh no!
And they have video of this online. You could look this up. She went over, dropped trow, and took a dump on the hood of the car.
She had to premeditate that because nobody just on the fly.
What? Maybe what happened was she had to go so bad, and this person was driving too slow, and that might have started the whole thing. And
Killed 2 birds with one
and then you
stone.
got to see her mugshot. Her mugshot, she's practically laughing. And it's almost like, yeah, I did it and I will do it again.
Whoa.
But she probably had to go, is what I'm thinking. She probably had to go, and these people were driving too slow or whatever. They cut her off, and she's like, I'm going to shit my pants here at any moment. And instead, so when they stopped, she just right on the, put a Cleveland Brown sticker on there. Steelers fans, that is not a Cleveland Brown sticker, just so you know.
I hope this doesn't catch on. This is bad.
Yeah, let's stick with the middle fingers and drive away. And come on, let's not do the pooping on the car. But I give people credit that can do that too. I mean, sometimes if I'm in a crowded restroom, I have a hard time peeing. And here you go, broad daylight after a car chase, and you just walk
drop
over
them and drop them
and go. See ya.
And Todd points out that this is the second poop theme in this episode. So
I don't know why I'm even going down that road. Yeah, no. But I'm just hoping that one doesn't catch on.
Yeah.
Let's just, the middle finger, you got your point across, and let's leave it at that.
Did you see the 2 new video challenges on Twitter that just came up?
No. Let's hear this.
Okay. So I'll give you in better and worse. So the better of the 2 is the Chromebook Fire Challenge. And you know how schools issue Chromebooks?
Yeah.
Well, there's videos about how to make it catch fire. So the kids are doing this paper clip in through the USB port and lighting their Chromebooks on fire. That's number 1, the Chromebook Fire Challenge. And this is the dumbest one. You're not going to be surprised, but it's dumb. This is called the Kool-Aid Man Challenge. And this is where you run headlong into a wall, crash through fences, brick walls.
Oh, that one sounds fun. You know what? Now that you're telling me this, I wish I was on the morning show again and we had somebody like Hubcap or Butcher to do this silly stuff.
Yeah. So breaking property and knocking yourself out.
You know what? I was thinking about that the other day because I saw this thing where they're having a hard time getting people 18 to 34 to listen to the radio. And I thought, you know what? This is what's missing. They got to get back to this old school fun stuff where you had like a crazy son of a gun to go do this.
Right. Look,
and that would
plop right through a freaking fence.
Now, okay, if you think about it, we used to have Butcher out there, we used to have Hubcap, and they would do any of this crazy stuff, That's what you need to get these younger people in because they're all into this TikTok and they're all into these challenges. I'll tell you what, if you had, say you had a top 40 station, okay, and you had a zany morning show like they used to have, and you had the crazy dude doing that, or you could even invite him to your house or something. You could have it set up, and if we pick you, and we'll have Crazy Man, Kool-Aid, we'll have the Kool-Aid Kid come out
dressed up in garb
and crash through your thing. And you know what? And we'll give you a prize if you invite us out. If you have the best thing that we could crash through, then we'll come out there and we'll do that. And you win a prize. You win a $25 gift card, or we'll bring coffee out or whatever. And then you're going to get these kids back into it because you got to meet them where they're at. And there's nothing out there to draw them in.
Yeah, instead of playing video games or being in front of the screen, you're getting out there busting through fences.
Right.
Taste some air,
And I mean, there's a lot of that old school stuff that they used to do in radio that got kids involved that just isn't out there anymore. And I think that's the one thing, that's the advantage over Spotify, over XM, over everything. You got to bring that back. And if everybody's into this stuff, you got to get back to having that crazy stunt man to go out there and do all that kind of stuff.
Johnny Knoxville crap.
Right. Boy, I tell you what, when we were doing that kind of stuff, especially when Jackass come out and Hubcap would do things like, put a turkey between his legs, and you would come out for Thanksgiving, shoot a paintball and see if the turkey shoot with a turkey between his legs and stuff like that. If you would start doing all this stuff, it would be, that's what they're missing. That's what they're missing.
Heck yeah.
So, well, my sister said, congratulations on the Hall of Fame. Yeah, there we go. Yep. It's a big deal. I'm kind of excited about that, but I don't like to get, you don't want to be in the Hall of Fame and stuff. And, then people hold you to like a higher standard. And then then when you screw up, then then it's like, it's even a bigger thing. If you screw up and you're down here, if you ain't in the Hall of Fame or whatever, then
you messed up. Then the headlines are going to be like, Fast Freddie, Hall of Famer for Wilton.
Yeah, right. You don't want that. You don't want all that extra pressure on you, Just like, I like to just go underneath the radar, So, anyways, how about the raccoon with the crack pipe?
Yes.
Did Ohio officially overtake Florida
100%,
man?
100%.
Did that just knock Florida man right off the #1 spot for stupid
Absolutely.
criminals in the news? When you have the crack pipe raccoon, and he looks like he's smoking it. That's the thing.
Dude is into it.
I'll tell you what, this Springfield Township up there by Mogador, that's the second crazy one they had. They also had the guy they arrested the other day. He was an Uber driver, and he was wearing a T-shirt that said "retired drug dealer." So guess what happened? He wasn't retired.
No,
he was an Uber driver. He found all this meth and stuff in his thing. He was bragging to the people he was driving. Yeah, hey, I got all this stuff in here.
That's a great cover, though. If you're delivering some stuff, and you're driving around giving rides along with it and selling the customers, that is perfect.
Yeah, you're supposed to be in certain neighborhoods while you're here. I'm delivering pizza. I'm dropping these people off. But I guess he thought that, when they pulled him over and they saw retired drug dealer, they would stop right there.
They'd be like, he's retired. We're not even searching this dude.
It says right there, retired, but but anyways, that's that I think the raccoon with the meth pipe just knocked Florida man off the charts. They're really going to have to work to surpass that. Whoever's going to come up with something.
Florida man has been quiet. I think his actions are being suppressed by the government.
They're
protecting him.
I think with the hurricane, first of all, I think the hurricane's kind of, I don't know if those people moved to other places or whatever, but it's either that or there's so much news, though, with Trump and everything. There's so much going on in the world that these stories now get.
Yeah, but he needs to up his game. He needs to keep going and making
where's his raccoon smoking meth?
For sure.
Where's Florida man pooping on cars? That was in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, that raccoon was trained. They just don't pick up meth pipes on their own.
Not like that.
No.
Not like that.
That was months of working with that raccoon to get him to smoke it right.
Wait a minute. This one might have been Florida man. I think this might have been.
Oh, come on, Florida man. Redeem yourself. Take the throne.
Florida man. Oh, no. This was New York man. How about this one?
Have we not had him in New York?
A man admitted to starting a 3-alarm fire which damaged 3 homes after intentionally setting fire to a couple of sex toys. Burnt down the neighborhood. I don't know what he was trying to do with it. I think they said he was trying to get the DNA off of it, and he burnt down 3 houses. That Florida man is kind of lacking here.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, Florida man. You
let me do a quick search, and maybe we can find
Florida man, a new one. There's got to be a new Florida man out there somewhere. But I'm usually on top of this stuff. Here's one Colorado man. Colorado man broke out of jail 2 days before he was set to be released. South Florida man charged 2 traffic deaths. Nah. Oh, here we go. Oh, okay. It says Walmart. Florida man, Walmart. Ding, 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 ding. Okay, the guy accidentally dropped his man. Florida man accidentally shoots himself at Walmart, startling weekend shoppers. All right, nicely done, Florida man. When it involves Walmart. Now, if the raccoon would have happened at a Walmart parking lot, that would have took it to legendary status. Okay.
So he traveled to Yellowstone. The Florida man was visiting Yellowstone and got gored by a bison.
How about this one? Remain of elderly Florida man found in bear after days after a deadly attack.
Dude,
that's sad though. You don't want to really make fun of somebody's grandfather getting eaten by a bear. Oh man, Florida man gets too close to bison at Yellowstone. Promptly finds out why that's a bad idea. Awesome, nicely done. Nicely done. Yeah. Okay. There was something there about Florida man with 3 wives.
Pleads guilty to bigamy.
Florida man has 3 wives. How could that be? How does Florida man get 3 women?
He's famous, dude. Everybody knows who he is. All he's got to say is, I'm Florida man.
Oh yeah, so yeah, he's still out there. He's swinging away. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not counting Florida man out.
Okay.
You know, I mean, you drop your guard, and Florida man's going to come back with something big.
Okay.
I mean, come on, the guy dropped his gun and shot himself at Walmart on a Saturday afternoon. Now that's that's
quality.
impressive.
Absolutely.
You know, the ones that I have though that I think make the perfect story, and I've been thinking about doing this on the air, is making it a contest, and I'll read a story. And then you have to guess meth or no meth, you know, and you read the whole story and you go, okay, was meth involved in this? And, you know, meth or no meth would be a fun one. But with that one, you know, that's, this was one from a while ago. 3 teenagers facing charges after attacking an Easter bunny at a mall in Naples, Florida. You know, that's pretty good.
Training, Florida man.
Yeah.
Next generation.
You know, that's, police in Kentucky arrested a naked man walking on the highway. When they found him, a cop asked what he was up to, and he said, "I'm trying to find a pair of pants." Good answer, though.
Absolutely.
You know what? So what do you do there?
You got to cut him a break.
Yeah.
You have to. He was honest with you.
Right. Yeah.
But I do need to know the story. What led up to that moment is probably more important.
He appeared to be under the influence of something and became disorderly, repeatedly kicking the door of the police car. Okay.
All right. Meth or no meth?
It's saying public intoxication and possession of drug paraphernalia, but it doesn't say.
All right.
Yeah. So, you know, he gave the right answer, but I'm looking for my pants, dude. But then when you start kicking the car and resisting arrest and everything, there you go. So that's Florida man. Florida man. Yeah, never count Florida man out. Oh, speaking of counting out, how about the Cavs? What an epic crumble.
That was awful.
I mean, I don't see any way they could come back and win 4 in a row. Yesterday, when they were losing by 40, and I mean, I followed this team the whole year. I was behind them from day one. You know, at the beginning of the season, when they knocked off Boston, when they knocked off Oklahoma, they went through the whole thing, and it was just like, oh, they were, you know, and they were finding these ways to win left and right. And then yesterday, when I saw the score was like 80-38, I was like, we're done. We are done. And Donovan Mitchell, I think, was hurt. And yeah, it was like, how did we collapse? Well, it's Cleveland. It's Cleveland.
They dominated the regular season.
I know.
Dominated.
I know. And it was like, oh, we got this. We got this. And then when LeBron got knocked off in the first round, it was like, oh, this is going to be so sweet. We're going to have another parade. And yay, go Cavs, you know? Yeah. If they win 4 in a row after this, that would be amazing.
They're going on the road now, so it's they got their work cut out for them.
All right, here we go. A list of outdated slang words that you still often use or not. A list of outdated slang terms that people won't stop using include gnarly. I don't know too many people use gnarly anymore. I think that one's kind of faded by the wayside. Stoked. You get stoked, man.
Sometimes I'll use stoked. That's still out there.
Once in a while, yeah. Now, dude, I would have dude is timeless if you ask me.
Absolutely.
Dude, man, cool. I think those 3 are like, you know, especially if you string them together. Cool, man. Dude, cool, man.
Yep.
You know, I don't see anything wrong with that. I don't think that. I think those are like timeless.
But if you ask your typical 15-year-old, are they saying dude? Probably. Yeah. It's probably still there.
Tight. Things tight. You still down with tight?
I probably don't say tight all that much.
Okay. How about slay? Oh man, that's
slay queen, slay king.
Yeah. You still do that?
I hear it. I don't use it, but
now here's one they got on the list. I don't see this one overused and outdated. Sweet. How is sweet outdated?
No,
Sweet's another timeless classic.
I use it all the time.
Sweet. I use sweet a million times. How about word? You still throw word out anymore? Never.
Not since the early 90s.
Okay, so word you're checking word off the list. Okay.
Not time.
Sick. You still use sick every once in a while? Oh,
every once in a while.
Dude,
every once in a while. And the next generation adopted that one. So that one will live on.
How about saying peace instead of goodbye? Peace. Peace.
I say it all the time.
I say peace out, you know, as a joke.
More ironical than anything.
So. Yeah. Like I say, dude is okay. Now I don't know who put these on this list. Okie dokie. I don't know. Too many people say okie dokie.
I haven't heard
Maybe your grandmother, your grandfather. What's another one? Cooking with gas. That's one of those that you throw it out every once in a while. I mean, it goes back to your great grandmother probably.
Now we're cooking with gas.
And now we're okie dokie. Now we're cooking with gas.
Exactly.
That's another one you string together.
Yes.
But I think maybe you use cooking with gas is almost a funny thing to say. How about this one? Can you dig it? That reminds me of all those old movies like Superfly, Freddy's Dead, Shaft.
Yes.
All those movies. That used to dig it. Can you dig it? The one about the pimps getting together and they have the big pimp meeting and everything. And dig it. Can you dig it?
Yeah, that one's long dead.
Yeah, I that might be one worth bringing back. The bomb. How's the bomb on the list? That's still probably as common as can be, right?
I'm trying to think. I haven't heard it in a while.
That's the bomb, man.
Nah, I haven't heard that one. I think that one's dead too.
Really?
I do.
Oh, maybe I'm just keeping that around.
Maybe.
Well, that's because I am the bomb. People tell me that.
True.
Or they're saying I'm bombing. Is there a difference? Right? Is there a difference between, so you mean like if I'm out somewhere tomorrow and they say, man, that show last night was a bomb.
It's a voice inflection. If it's like, oh, you're the bomb.
Oh, the bomb or a bomb.
Exactly.
If, you need the DA instead of just A.
Yes.
So I got to listen a little more carefully. So like tomorrow when I run into somebody said, hey, I caught that show yesterday. It was a bomb.
There it is. Trail off at the end.
Yeah.
That's no good.
Dude, that show was the bomb.
That's good.
The bomb, not a bomb.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I guess it's the inflection. Bee's knees. Why would that even be on the list? Who would even think of putting that on the list? Who says that's the bee's knees anymore?
I say it.
You say the bee's knees?
Yes.
Where did you get that from?
Grandma, probably.
Bee's knees. You're a bee's kneeser.
Bee's knees and In Like Flynn. Those are my two.
Flynn, I think, is a classic.
Yeah, right.
Okay, well, bee's knees then. My bad. Here's another one. I don't know if I don't think they use this as much as they used to. Bogus. Dude, that was so bogus, man. Anybody say bogus, man?
Yeah, that one's dead.
I think I might have to bring back all of these, Here's one, whippersnapper. I mean, how would that even make the list? I'm sure but you're with bee's knees, or you're not a whippersnapper, are you?
When you're imitating an old person,
whippersnapper, right? Yeah,
get off my lawn, you whippersnapper.
Right. Yeah, that's where that would be properly used. Yeah. Okay. How about home slice? You still call people home slice?
No, never did, and never. No,
you were never a home slicer.
No home slicing.
What's up, home slice?
I like it though. That one might be worth bringing back.
Yeah. Here's another one that was right around, I think, the era of home slice. Smell you later.
Smell you later.
Yeah. Fresh Prince or
what
whatever.
about like awesome? Do you say awesome?
Oh, all the time. That's like I wish I wouldn't say it as much as I do. Somebody will say something on Facebook. Awesome dude. Now I'm just gonna say that's a bee's knees. I'm gonna switch it up
and mock me for the rest of the week.
Yeah, let's see. Steve says peace and love. Dave says far out, man. See you on the flip side.
I use that one every once in a while.
Yeah, see you on the flip side. Yeah. Even because radio type talk. Golly. I mean, that goes back to Gomer Pyle and stuff. Geez Louise.
Geez Louise. I haven't heard that.
Is that another one you use imitating an old person?
Yeah.
Oh, geez Louise. These whippersnappers. How about this one? This one guy says, I'm known as the right on guy at work. Right on. He said, hey man, did you see the Fast Freddie podcast? Yeah, right on.
Yeah.
Right on.
I remember hearing people say that.
There's still a couple right on guys out there, but I don't think it's as big. That might be on the waning. Bra.
Oh man, I hate bro. Broheme.
Yeah, bro, I still kind of like bro. I'm a big bro guy. I'm a big bro guy. Yeah. I still say bro. Oh, bro. Those guys, that's just, oh man, I'm gonna slay tonight, bro. I say that, and when I'm gonna, you know what? Now, when I usually put the little caption on there, I've been saying that we're gonna have some jibber jabber. And I am going to have to change that now to maybe have some of these, brah, we're going to slay tonight.
Oh, yeah, that'd be sweet.
This show's going to be the bee's knees. You know
Bee's
what? I
knees.
gotta see, this is how you improve your vocabulary. And, you know, they actually have like public speaking courses about this where you should use words that are different. Like I say, you use awesome I must, you know, write awesome in response to 50 posts a day. You know, it's another one too that never went out of style. Cool. Cool is still
good.
Cool, awesome.
All right, so I got a question for you.
Okay.
You're in a public place with people that are talking to you. Somebody starts droning on.
Yeah.
What is your go-to word to let them know that you are done with this conversation? Everybody has their word, the dismissal word.
Actually, I really don't.
Okay.
I am unfortunately I am one of those people that I just sit there. It's,
Take it.
And it's just like, okay, all right, you know, and then it's like, you know, I don't want to come off as being rude, you know, but there are some times that you're just, you know, you just sit there and go, holy shit, what's this guy talking about?
You need an interrupter word that stops it, and then a dismissal like, okay, it was nice seeing you, and then you can bail. But I use like, wow, that's awesome. Hey, it was nice seeing you, right? Butted up against one another.
Okay. Well, usually what happens to me, I am stuck there. You know,
you can't go.
I am standing somewhere in front of like a microphone and stuff where I am here for the next 4 hours. So, you know, whatever you have to say, you know,
you're my new friend.
Right. Yeah. So to me, that's not even a thing because that, you know, that's a daily basis if I'm out somewhere and, you know, somebody will come over and blah, 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 blah. It's like, okay, you know, and you can't leave because the song might run out. You know, okay, another one, bananas. Man, those guys were going bananas.
Yeah.
When
Stefani brought that back with
oh, okay.
That shit is bananas in the lyrics, and everybody.
I think I use ape shit more than bananas. Is ape shit still
gone ape
these
shit?
guys
I've
gone
heard that
ape
in a
shit.
while.
Okay. That one might just be me. Somebody who still calls people cats occasionally. Now I use that. I use cats a lot. You know when you really use cats a lot when you're talking about musicians. You could still, if you're you know, talking about musicians, you know, you could still throw cats out there. Oh, that cat was jamming, man.
That makes sense.
But I wouldn't put cats and bees' knees together.
No.
You know.
Those cats were the bee's knees.
Yeah, no.
You don't want to.
Yeah.
You don't want to marry those two.
Yeah. Let's see. Let's blow this pop stand. I still use that. I don't know why that.
Popsicle. Do I have it wrong? Let's blow this popsicle stand.
You could say popsicle. Okay. It all depends, you know.
Because I've been using it my whole life. If I've been wrong the whole time,
you might be wrong on that. But yeah, I usually just say pop stand. Let's blow this pop stand. Popsicle stand, I guess, is acceptable.
Okay. All right.
So those, you know what? I think I'm going to bring back some of these things. You know, just to be funny. You know, you just put that stuff on there.
It'll make you laugh.
Right. You know, because like I say, right now I got, you know, I'm on there with the, you know, jibber jabber seemed to be the one. You know, I heard somebody say that the one day, and I was like, yeah, jibber jabber.
Well, on your radio show, I want you to address your audience as cats and kittens.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's the other one. Boots Bell. We always have to mention Boots Bell on there. Since you mentioned cats and kittens, I'm sure old Booter on the Booter scooter a time or two mentioned cats and kittens.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So those are some.
Lenny said, "Piss up a rope."
That's my mom's favorite saying. My mom is 92 years old, and she still says that all the time. Hey, tell him go piss up a rope. You know,
it's awesome. It's that checkmate one. That's good.
Yeah. But that's a list of phrases. But like I say, that's something they do like teach you to be in being public speaker is to throw some of them words in there just to break up the monotony. You know what word I've been using a lot lately, and it came up like 3 days in a row on my pages or whatever. And it's probably because I watch all these mobster things on there. A Mama Luke. I just love the word Mama Luke.
What is it?
It's like an Italian word for like a dope.
Okay.
You know,
Mama
it had Mama Luke, you know, or a mook. You can call him a mook for short. And for some reason, the last couple of days, I had like about 3 or 4 different videos. One, they had a Mama Luke compilation from all these different mob movies of people calling each other Mama Lukes. And it just made me laugh for some crazy reason, you know? And that's a good one.
Yeah, I mean, I think their phrasings in mob movies are great, but I don't know the insensitive ones versus the ones it's okay to use on the street.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you might go out there and say that, and it's like, whoa, I shouldn't have said that one. You know? Yeah, there's a couple of them out there that are definitely like racial slurs and stuff. But, you know, are they a racial slur, or are you just using an Italian word?
That's it.
You know,
it could be just I heard it in a movie one day.
Yeah. Or what if you're, you know, your native tongue, the word for black is whatever. If you use that word and you're just using that nationality's word for, say, black, is that a racial slur? Are people going to take it that way? Or
good question,
you know, or is it, hey, listen, that's what it's, that's just a word. That's what, you know.
I'm not testing it out.
Me either.
At all.
Yeah, me either. I'll let that one pass. But yeah, that was one word that has been coming up a lot lately. That and gabagool.
Gabagool. I like gabagool.
They had another compilation of The Sopranos, and you know, they were on there, and that was their big thing. And it was like all the times that they said gabagool in The Sopranos, and it's hilarious. You know, that's what you got to look up one day if you're not doing anything. You know, look up Sopranos gabagool compilation and the Malouk or Mama Luke. Now the Malouk, the Maloik, that's like the evil eye. You know, I'll tell you, the Italians got some cool little sayings going. You know, and I got to give it up to the Italians. They do have like a lot of stuff like that. You know. You would think calling somebody a mook. Hey, you mook. You know, oh, I think they put the Maloik on me. You know, oh, you know, the evil eye, and you know, there's some pretty. Yeah,
their words are very scary when you hear them. I remember, like my grandparents and uncles, they used to swear in Hungarian, and it was like cats fighting. The words all sounded like they're going to tear your eyeballs out. But when Italian says something, it's guttural, and it feels like you should not talk back or say anything to them. Yeah.
Instead of somebody saying, hey, you dummy. Hey, you Mama Luke. God,
exactly.
That Mama Luke over there.
Sounds so flowing.
You know, it feels like you're really calling you something. There's a little bit more to it than just being a dummy.
Exactly.
You know, or even just a mook. That's another one. I just like to bust that one out. Hey, you mook. You usually got to put the F word though in front of mook. You know, it works better. You know, all these Italian phrases seem to work better when you put the F word in front of it. You know, but yeah, that's some crazy stuff. A lot of good concerts coming up. I got to remind everybody about today. They announced Alice Cooper returns to the Covelli Center, and Ellis will be there on August 17th. Tickets go on sale Friday. Internet pre-sale on Thursday. And we're giving away tickets all this week at noon and 3 on Y103. That's going to be a good show. Also coming up on May 31st, right? May 31st, the Vindies and Lita Ford are going to be at the Covelli Center. Sweet. And that show is going to benefit the Rich Center for Autism. And right now, if you go to Ticketmaster.com and you hit the unlock button and you use the code word 103, you'll get $10 off your tickets. So nice. And I'll tell you what, the Jake and everybody and Lindsay and everybody that's been working on this with the Rich Center, they've been doing such a great job, and they've been so enthused about this that you know, it's been, you know, a lot of fun. So that's good, and that's probably going to be the only time you're going to see the Vindies around here, as a matter of fact, because they're booked up all summer now. Heck yeah. As a matter of fact, tonight they're playing with Pat Benatar up in Erie. How about that? Pat Benatar picking them up and taking them on tour.
So cool.
And then they're going to be opening for ZZ Top at Northfield Park. They're doing this cool like showcase show with a bunch of other bands in New York City. They are on a roll. They are on a roll. If this was 30 years ago, they would have had a record contract. They would have been signed and they would have been on their way to the big time. But it just doesn't work like that. There's some cool cats, man.
Cool cats.
Them Vindies, man. Yeah, that Jackie, she's a cat. you better believe it, you know?
And so let's give them a sellout for the home crowd. That would be amazing.
Yeah. And they just keep getting better and better every time I see them, you know? So I don't know. What do you think? You ready to wrap it up? We're about done. Okay. I thought Vinny Martell was going to call in, but that was going to be, I see they, Scott Stapp canceled at the rib burnoff too, coming up.
Really?
Yeah. I kind of had a feeling because as good as Creed has been doing lately, like last summer, that was one of those things that really surprised the heck out of me. Was, you know, Creed was selling out every single show that they played last year. And that's why I wondered, okay, man, they were doing all these big sellouts and, he must have booked them beforehand. And somewhere down the line, I'm going, you know what?
Play here for a lot less.
Yeah. But that was crazy because, Creed really hasn't anything out in a long time. But, all of a sudden, we get this message, hey, please announce if you're coming to the Creed show, it is a complete sellout at Star Lake. Please leave early to avoid the traffic jams. We're expecting heavy congestion and lots of people. And I'm kind of looking at it going, could this be right? And sure enough, man, last year, and they just sold out every single place out of the clear blue. I don't even think they were expecting it. So Scott Stapp probably had these things booked before they even, had anything going on.
Did I see Fuel is filling in where they were? They're headlining then?
Yeah. Fuel's good. They're a fun band. And what else is going on that I got to tell you about? Alice Cooper, Lita Ford. Those are, I'll tell you, for classic rock, though, this summer, it hasn't been a banner year, it seems like all the country is announcing a big show every week. It's AC/DC coming up in a few weeks. Wednesday night, they played down in Pittsburgh last week. And I see our buddy BJ Lisco was there. He's the biggest AC/DC fan on the planet, so you figured he would be there. But everybody said the show was really good. Everybody said they just really rocked, But they just, they're getting old. I hate to say that, I mean, come on. Angus is like, you look at him and you're going, but the guy could still, tear it up,
Yep.
But the classic rockers, man. I mean, we're I'm worried
a bit.
I'm worried.
Yep.
I'm worried. So not to say that I'm going to be around that long either. So, what can I say? All right, Joe. Well, thank you, everybody. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in today. I'm not sure if I'm going to be here next week. I'm heading down to Florida for a couple of days. And if not, I got a couple of other guests in my back pocket here. Hopefully we're going to get to, and we'll just have some more fun. So that's all I got. I'll catch you tomorrow afternoon, 3:00 with your Alice Cooper tickets on Y103. And Joe, time to finish up my coffee here. I'm going to go on a coffee break here. I got to finish this, finish my coffee here. So I'll take a coffee break. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next week or the week after.